channel. I'm happy to have you back for another video. And today's video is going to be pretty intense because we are talking about a missing minor. But it's also going to be a very important video, I think, for many people to see. I hope this could possibly help some parents out there and educate them about internet safety. But this case has absolutely broken my heart. It's just incredibly unfortunate how this all happened. And today's video is going to be another family collaboration video. So Alicia's mother, Jessica, will be in the video. And also you will hear a bit from the private investigator who is working on the case. And I would just like to remind you guys again that with these family collaboration videos, oftentimes the family reads the comment section, and so I ask that you guys keep it helpful and kind. And if you don't have something helpful or kind to say, maybe you just shouldn't say it. Not everything that you think about has to be put into words all the time, and I just want to make sure the family only receives support in this situation because what they've been through has been absolute hell. I've been on YouTube for so long that negative comments really don't affect me much, but these families are not used to it. And because this is their own trauma that they are opening up about, I ask everyone to be respectful. But before we get started, I just wanted to remind you guys about the Her Justice merch that I have right now on my website. I will put all of the different items we have on the screen. We have a couple different colors and styles, so you should check it out. And 100% of the profit is going to Her Justice, who is fighting for women's justice in New York City. I will link more information about Her Justice below if you want to check it out, as well as the link to the Her Justice collection. Now let's get into this case. So today we are talking about Alicia Cristina Navarro, who was born on September 20th, 2004. She lived in Glendale, Arizona with her mom, Jessica Nunez, her stepfather, and her siblings. Alicia was a very happy child, a really cute kid, and her mother absolutely adored her.
My daughter Alicia is a very loving, caring, smart girl. She was very caring for others and very shy. My relationship with my daughter is very special. I'm the one who took her to therapies, to appointments. I was always there when she had challenges and always tried to be the best mother I can be. So I love my daughter very much.
So Alicia is autistic. However, she has low support needs, but like many autistic people, really preferred to have a set schedule and was very overwhelmed with sudden changes. She found a lot of comfort in routine. She liked to wear the same things, eat the same things. Her favorite restaurants were IHOP and McDonald's. She loved McDonald's the best though, because she liked to get chicken nuggets and french fries. Alicia also struggled a lot with social anxiety. Social situations were just very difficult for her. She didn't like to go out much. She didn't like to be around too many new people or overstimulating areas like big crowds. She preferred to stay at home most of the time where she was safe in a controlled environment. It just helped her manage her anxiety. She also liked to spend a lot of her time online gaming. She loved Minecraft, she loved the whole world of online gaming, and it did give her a sense of social interaction, but she felt like she could control it, she could do it from her own home. Alicia started working with a behavioral coach in 2017 to help her manage the challenges of school, making friends, and her mom Jessica always encouraged her daughter to be more social. Alicia was a wonderful person, someone that anyone would be lucky to have as a friend. She was caring, super loving, described herself as nerdy and introverted in this school assignment that she did. She loved to read, and she absolutely adored her dog, who was named Sushi. She's so cute. And Alicia was also really smart and got good grades. She changed schools a few times and did online school for a few months as well because the social interactions were just becoming too much. But she was really excited when she got into Brigade Catholic High School in Phoenix, along with several of her friends.
My daughter did have friends besides the ones online. It was a very small circle. So her friends that she actually had besides the ones online were very close to her. She knew them since pre-K.
Around this time, Alicia was doing really well. She was getting up on her own for school in the morning, getting ready on her own, so she was becoming more independent. She was doing really well in school. She had plans to go to college, and she had a bright future ahead of her. So in fall of 2013, Alicia just started her new school, and she was loving it, but it was very overwhelming. It was a big change, and so on September 13th, 2019, her mom told her that she could stay home because Alicia woke up just feeling really anxious and didn't want to go to school. And her mom was always all about her having mental health days. So They agreed she would stay home that Friday. Alicia spent most of the day at home in her room. The next day, Saturday the 14th, Alicia and her mom went out together for a little date day. They got Alicia's eyebrows threaded, and then they also went to the chocolate store and McDonald's because that is the only place she wanted to eat that day.
We had an outing that day. I took her to McDonald's to eat her French fries and her nuggets.
Jessica said nothing unusual happened that day. It seemed like a perfectly normal afternoon together.
I did not notice anything unusual. She was very happy. I did hear conversations, or actually not conversations, but laughs from upstairs.
Around 1 a.m., Jessica was going upstairs and Alicia was going downstairs, and they kind of bumped into each other, and Alicia seemed surprised that her mom was still awake. Jessica went to bed shortly after that, and her husband fell asleep in the living room in front of the TV. And then Jessica woke up the next morning around 7 a.m. and started making breakfast for the family. But when she went downstairs, she noticed that the back door was slightly open. And she didn't think too much of it at first. She thought maybe her husband forgot to close it all the way. She thought maybe he had already gone outside that morning, but she checked with him and it turns out he hadn't been outside. So they started getting concerned, and that's when he went upstairs to check on Alicia and found out that she wasn't in her room. Jessica then walked into the backyard and saw bricks and chairs stacked up against the fence and footprints on the ground in front of it. They frantically looked around the entire house, and Alicia was not there. She'd also taken her cell phone and her MacBook with her and didn't bring the chargers, so it seemed like she thought she would be coming back. So of course Jessica is panicked at this point. She calls 911 and reports her daughter missing.
911, where's your emergency? I have an autistic girl that is not currently at my house. She must have sneaked out at night.
Glendale police officers were sent to the house, and when they got there, they saw the same scene, the bricks and the chairs, and it looked like Alicia had stacked all that up, climbed over the fence, and left herself. The officers got a list of phone numbers and addresses for her friends and left the house to go look for her. They contacted the missing persons detectives, and Jessica just had to wait for them to call. But meanwhile, she is just panicked. Of course, when you're a mother and your child is gone and it looks like they may have left themselves, your mind is just racing of all the possibilities of where she could be. Plus, she knew that Alicia needed her. She could not be just out on her own.
She doesn't know how to be here by herself. Does that make sense? She doesn't know how to take a bus.
The next day, Jessica went into Alicia's room to try to look for any clues. Maybe she left behind a note or something. And it turns out she did. It says, "I ran away. I will be back. I swear. I'm sorry. Alicia." And this note looks like Alicia had possibly written it in a hurry. It wasn't very neat, as her handwriting usually was, but I asked her mom if she thought she wrote it, and she said that she definitely does believe her daughter wrote the note herself. So she brought this note into the police, and so now they know that she is a runaway, most likely. And Jessica had to beg them to put out a silver alert, which a silver alert broadcasts information about missing and vulnerable people across the United States. She knew that it was vital that they get Alicia's face and name out there as much as possible. So they also put her information on this digital billboard on Loop 101, but Jessica felt like they weren't doing enough, so she decided to take matters into her own hands. She searched the whole neighborhood trying to find any possible clues, and she also got surveillance footage from neighbors. She talked to neighbors. She basically started doing her own investigation. And she did end up finding footage that showed a white truck entering the neighborhood and then shortly after leaving the neighborhood, and it was around the time that they believe Alicia left the house. They looked closer at the shoe prints in the backyard and they matched Alicia's shoes, so they know that she was for sure the one walking out, and they didn't see any other footprints with her. And it's possible that Alicia stacked all those chairs and bricks and left through the backyard instead of the front yard because she wanted to avoid possible surveillance. And that makes you wonder if anyone was coaching her through this. So the last time that Alicia was online was at 3:26 a.m. on September 15th. And somewhere between then and when Jessica woke up at 7 a.m., Alicia must have left the house. And with the evidence that they had, investigators had no reason to believe that someone took her out of the house or that she left with someone else. It seems like she left on her own. Jessica and her husband were both home that night. her husband was in the living room, and they would have heard possibly a scream or their dog bark if someone had actually come into the house. There was no sign of struggle, no sign that a stranger had come through the house, no footprints or anything like that. And Alicia had left home just 5 days before her 15th birthday, and her parents felt like maybe she'll come back before then. If she's really just gone for a little while and is planning to come back, maybe she'll try to get back before that, because they had a whole family party scheduled. They had already picked out a birthday cake together, and Alicia was very excited about it. They had gotten red velvet cake, which is her favorite. They had reservations at a fancy restaurant. Alicia had been asking to try steak for the first time and was super excited about trying it. So Jessica had hope that maybe she would return before her birthday.
For the Hispanic community, when your child turns 15 years old, it's a very special time. They usually celebrate with, a quinceañera or a big celebration. But knowing her personality and the way she was, she didn't want none of that. She just asked for a simple cake. And I went to a local park and I posted in social media whoever wanted to join me to have her birthday and to give out flyers and look for her around the community. I had volunteers that showed up, and I actually celebrated with her birthday with people I don't even know.
But unfortunately, her birthday came and Alicia did not come home. There's a heartbreaking video of her mom trying to celebrate her birthday. It just absolutely kills me.
Happy birthday to you.
Through many tears, her mom, Jessica Nunez, sings to her.
So there was a potential sighting of Alicia 4 days after she first went missing. She was apparently seen by one of her siblings' friends around 4 in the afternoon on September 19th. And the kid who saw her said that she was with an older man with tattoos and darker skin. And according to her, the tattoos were also on his hands, his arms, everywhere. Alicia and this man were apparently in La Pradera Park on 39th Avenue in Glendale, which is about 1.5 miles from her home. So Jessica actually investigated this tip right away herself. She went to the area and talked to anyone who would listen to her and looked for people that looked like what this person had described. And when she got there, there was a man who was always at the park, and she talked to him, and he said he also saw Alicia with a darker skinned man with a ton of tattoos. Unfortunately though, there was no surveillance anywhere near the park or surrounding areas, which is pretty hard to believe in today's day and age. Since Alicia has been missing, she has not used her phone, done anything on social media, or logged into any of the gaming sites that she frequented. Jessica was heartbroken, especially after her birthday passed, but she wasn't going to give up. She continued to follow up with as many tips and leads as she could, distributed flyers, organized search groups. She would go on as many walks as she could around their area, seeing if she could find Alicia, and she would even go out at night. And that's when she realized that there was some really horrible things happening where they lived at night. She saw tons of underage kids on drugs, participating in sex work on the streets, and sometimes after walking around, she would just be so disturbed that she wouldn't even be able to go to sleep, thinking her daughter was out in all of this. And during all of this, police are barely sharing any new information with Jessica. They had handwriting specialists look at the note, and they determined that it was written by Alicia. But instead of calling Jessica to tell her that, she ended up finding out about it in a news report. The National Center for Missing and Exploited Children got involved in the case early on and put up additional billboards and listed Alicia on their websites. They also put her photo on gas pump machines and put up any additional flyers wherever they could, or gave them out to whoever was willing to take them. Eventually the FBI got involved in the case and tried to provide as many resources as they could to the Glendale Police Department. Detectives looked into a bunch of rideshare companies and any other public transportation that Alicia could have used in the area. They also contacted all registered sex offenders and adult group homes in the area. And heading into 2020, there were no solid leads. There was no sign of Alicia, and her mother and family and friends were just heartbroken and felt stuck. So Alicia did have a Facebook account, but she didn't really use it much anymore. She spent most of her time logged on to different gaming platforms and forums. And Jessica barely knew what Alicia was doing online. She thought, the internet was a good thing for her daughter at the time. She struggled so much with face-to-face interaction that this gave her the ability to be social and gave her some confidence, and she really enjoyed playing games and being part of the online gaming community. At the time, Jessica just did not know anything bad could happen to Alicia by playing games on the computer.
My daughter's internet use was daily. I didn't think too much of it since I thought by her being at home, she was safe. I never thought of the dangers that the internet possesses.
It's actually pretty common for people with autism to feel able to socialize a bit more online. It's a misconception that people with autism lack the want to have social interaction, that they lack emotion in some way, but that's really not it at all. It's just that the way that they experience and interact with the world is different from other people. And some of the social barriers that they can struggle with are kind of broken down on an online space. So many autistic people, like Alicia, prefer to communicate online, and it makes total sense. And the other thing about autistic people is they'll oftentimes develop special interests, and one of those interests for Alicia was gaming. It was a huge part of her life. It wasn't just a hobby to her, it was a way to reduce anxiety, to relax, and so her mom always thought it was a good thing for her and didn't realize the potential dangers that could be out there. Jessica just didn't think that supporting Alicia's special interest of online gaming was going to lead to any trouble. To her, she was just a shy kid who liked playing games online. But in the weeks and months leading up to Alicia's disappearance, there were a few subtle changes that Jessica noticed in hindsight. It's hard because her daughter was growing up. She was going into high school, she was going through a lot of changes, so she didn't notice that some of her requests leading up to her disappearance were a bit unlike her. One of the things was trying Matt's steak at the fancy restaurant for her birthday. Alicia never liked steak, and it was pretty sophisticated for her to request to go to a steak restaurant.
She only eats certain foods because of her sensory, and this was a big thing for me.
She also asked to start wearing body spray, which was unusual because she had a lot of sensory issues as well and oftentimes didn't like wearing strongly scented things. Also, she used to be into modern pop music like Top 100 stuff, but suddenly she was interested in Pink Floyd. And eventually she started asking her mom to buy her makeup, which Jessica thought, she's going into high school, there's probably just pressure from other girls wearing makeup. But in hindsight, she worries that someone could have been telling her to wear makeup, or maybe she wanted to impress someone. She also wanted to wear a bit more revealing clothing, like a backless top, she requested. And this was a drastic change for Alicia because she normally wore the same things every day. Often she was wearing a baggy sweatshirt, even in the summer heat in Arizona. It was just what she was comfortable in. She also asked for a $200 Iron Man comic, which it seems like she never read. Jessica said it didn't look like she ever touched it. But what's very strange is Alicia actually took the comic with her when she left the house. So now they believe it possibly was a gift for someone else that she requested. 2 weeks before she disappeared, Jessica drove her to the Phoenix Metro Center Mall to meet with friends, 2 boys. And one of the guys apparently introduced her to one of his friends who was really in shape and really into protein supplements and stuff like that. And so Alicia started requesting some of those things. She asked her mom for protein supplements, and she started showing an interest in fitness. And also, before Alicia even disappeared, Jessica had found a golf ball size hole in her screen of her window. And Alicia told her that a bird flew into the window. But after they looked at it again, after she had gone missing, they realized that Alicia cut the screen from the inside. And of course, they have no idea why she cut this hole or what she was using it for. Possibly sending notes out to someone, maybe someone was putting something in. At one point before she had gone missing, Jessica noticed that Alicia was giving out some personal information to someone online or posting it online. And she had to sit down with her and have an internet safety talk. And she thought she really made it clear to Alicia what is okay to put out there and what's not. She thought she really understood. But what Jessica just didn't understand at the time, and what so many parents don't understand, is what kind of experts lurk on these platforms. These people are very good at what they do, very good at grooming and luring children offline. And oftentimes these people will target people like Alicia and slowly lure them away from their homes.
So when we talk about the dangers of kids being groomed, children being groomed down the line, we talk about how the world's changed. You know, and 15, 20 years ago, when you used to teach your kids about stranger danger, it was if you see the weird person standing outside of school or at the playground, and you need to go tell an adult, tell a teacher, tell a police officer, and then you could bring your kids home, you could lock the doors, and you could keep the bad guys out and keep everybody safe. Unfortunately, in today's world, you can lock your doors, you can lock your windows, but the bad guys still come in, and they come in through your cell phone, they come in through your laptop, they come in through your tablet, and that's where the bad guys live in today's world. The modern place for bad guys to hide is in the internet, in your devices, and that's how they get into your home. And the advent of smartphones and tablets and video games have given bad guys 24/7 access to children.
So in 2020, obviously we all know what happened in the beginning of 2020. The pandemic hit and it slowed everything down. It slowed down the ability for investigators to even look into the case. So in March of 2020, the Anti-Predator Project got involved. And this is a nonprofit organization dedicated to fighting human trafficking in the United States.
How I got in communication with anti-predators is through a private detective that referred me to them. I am very grateful for that detective because that was the best thing that has happened in this case.
And what's great about them is they take on cases like Alicia's free of charge, and they work to identify perpetrators and find kids who have been kidnapped or sold on the black market, which happens so much more than people realize. It's a huge problem, even here in America, all over the world, but much more here than people even realize. So far, the Anti-Predator Project has rescued over 30 kids and helped over 100 families. And like I said, Jessica is now working with them, and she's working specifically with a guy named Trent Steele, who I got to talk to on the phone the other day. He's wonderful. The work they're doing is absolutely outstanding.
We got involved in Alicia's case around March of 2020 when another private investigator reached out to us and asked for assistance.
And Trent explained to me that the first thing that they do in these cases is, of course, look at all of the devices, all of the internet history, everything like that. But there's been a big problem with Alicia's case because she took her phone and her laptop with her, and they've been unable to access a lot of things.
I can tell you that Alicia taking her devices with her, her cell phone and her laptop, has made our job immensely more difficult.
Trent believes that whoever lured her away from her home that night convinced her to bring her devices with her so that they wouldn't be able to be traced. So obviously the next step is to access the platforms that she was using. And one of the platforms that Alicia was using quite a bit was Discord, which Discord is one of those things. It's the internet. There's ups and downs to it for sure. Like, I have a Discord for fans. You can join it below. It's free, and it's just a way to communicate and for like-minded people to kind of chat about things. But there is a major dark side to Discord. They've had a lot of issues with predators, and it can be very dangerous for children. They specifically know how to target children who feel like they don't belong or are looking for acceptance online. And this isn't just some guy sitting in his mom's basement. These are high-profile professional criminals who know how to do this and leave behind as little evidence as they can. Alicia probably left her house feeling like she was meeting up with some friend of hers, someone that she had built trust with up over a period of time online. On September 4th, just a few days before Alicia had disappeared, she had messaged another friend of hers on Discord. This friend of hers was a 20-year-old man in Oregon, and she told him that she sold her Xbox and that she had a boyfriend now. And then they found out that the Thursday before Alicia left, she had told another guy friend that she was gonna go to California. She was gonna run away, and asked if he wanted to go with her. Some of Alicia's friends have said to investigators that sometimes it was hard to tell when Alicia was telling the truth because sometimes she would exaggerate things. It was hard for them to know when to take her seriously and when to not, which led to possible red flags being missed. And of course, in hindsight, Jessica wishes she was way more involved in what her daughter was doing online. She just didn't know what was out there. She thought her daughter was just playing games and socializing. But in today's world, predators don't often break into your home and kidnap your kid. They do it online. They stalk them. They hang out in communities and prey on children. And I know that's so scary to think about, but it is so important that people talk about it, because as uncomfortable as it is, it's incredibly important, and the issue is only going to get worse with time. And right now we're dealing with a generation gap where parents like Jessica didn't grow up with internet in the same way that Alicia has grown up with the internet and knows how to use it better than her mom. Like most kids, a lot of parents just simply don't know about the online dangers that their kids could walk right into. A lot of parents just don't understand technology, how to even log into those types of things, or what they're even used for. They don't know much about online predators. They don't know much about the dark web and how scary of a place the internet truly is. And these spaces are so complex that they cannot be regulated by the government. It's up to parents educating themselves about online safety to protect their children. But this can be particularly challenging when you have a daughter who's autistic like Alicia. For Alicia, the online space, the online world was much easier to navigate than the real world. She could control her virtual persona. She could be anyone she wanted to. The private investigator working on this case, Trent, has explained to us that he's only had 2 cases in his career where he hasn't been able to give the family a plausible explanation for what has happened. And this is sadly one of them.
Over the last decade of working on child exploitation, missing children, human trafficking cases, I've seen a lot of different things, but the technical aspect and the digital aspect of Alicia's case is extremely different from anything that we've ever worked on or seen before.
A lot of her online activity just can't be accessed because she has her devices. So Trent and his team have had to kind of piece together whatever they can from her public communication. And things have just gotten crazier in the world of human trafficking, because now traffickers are using cryptocurrency, which is nearly impossible to trace.
Bad people to conduct business with a high level of anonymity, and they can conduct financial transactions now with the advent of Bitcoin and other forms of cryptocurrency, also with a high level of anonymity. And it's just kind of become a place where bad people go to conduct business because it's essentially a safe environment for them.
Right now, sex trafficking generates approximately $100 billion per year. Trent's team is currently working on a cyber forensic lab that can look a little more deeply into these online chats, websites, and possibly the use of cryptocurrency, which could really help them in their fight to bring home children. But it's hard to keep up with the technology because the traffickers are also updating all the time and learning new methods, and they're one step ahead. They put in a tremendous amount of effort to keep all of this going. But real quick, I wanted to take a minute to talk about what parents can do to protect their children online. There's software out there that can show you what your child is actually doing online by mirroring everything they do and sending it to you.
There are programs you can buy. Kids Guard Pro is one you can purchase. Net Nanny is another good program you can purchase that will allow you to monitor everything that goes on your child's smart device. But those programs are not a replacement for being involved and knowing what your child's doing.
And I get that it can be an invasion of privacy, but as a parent, there are things that you just have to do to protect your child in today's modern world. There are so many predators out there that you can't just not know what they're doing anymore. Of course, you can block your kid from having certain access to stuff, but being in the know of what they're doing is the best way to stay on top of things. Talk to them about their games. What game are you playing? Who are you talking to on Discord? But it's hard because kids who grew up with the technology, they know how to work it better than their parents. They know the workarounds for some of the blocks. And in most cases, if they want to access things, they're probably going to figure out a way to access it. So the best way you can keep track of what they're doing is by monitoring it.
So it's very important that parents are aware of their children's online activities, what they're doing, who they're talking with. Parents are aware of what applications and games they have on their phone, and that they just stay involved in their kids' life, and they make sure that they know what their kids are doing, because Unfortunately, the internet has done a lot of great things for us, but it's really given bad guys a lot of access to our kids.
And another extremely important thing to do is educate your kids about the reality of the internet, the possible dangers that they could face if they talk to strangers online, the types of people that are out there who can be hiding behind a fake profile. Also, when I talked to Trent, he said that he advises that parents put off giving your kid a smartphone for as long as possible. A regular old flip phone that just does calls and texts is a lot easier to manage.
There's no reason anybody under the age of 13 should have unrestricted access to the internet. There are plenty of phones out there that make phone calls in safety situations and emergency situations that don't give your child unregulated access to the internet.
The truth is that these traffickers and child pornographers have infiltrated apps that young kids are using that are advertised as for kids. Some of them are advertised for kids as young as 6 years old. So websites, apps, games for kids are a #1 spot for predators to look for victims. Of course, I don't want to scare anyone with this video, and I don't mean to give anyone anxiety, but it's so important that people know the realities of this because it has gotten out of control. So Trent and Jessica and the police have pretty much all come to the same conclusion. Someone likely groomed Alicia for weeks or even months leading up to her disappearance, and when she left, she likely thought she was going to be coming back. When Alicia left her house, she was 4 feet 9 inches tall and 89 to 95 pounds. She's Hispanic with black hair, brown eyes, and braces. Her mom says that she may have been wearing her favorite white sweatshirt with writing on it, a whitewashed denim overall skirt, and a black and white Vans type style tennis shoe. She took this small backpack with her. It had metallic cat ears on it. It looked more like a purse. It was pretty small. And she also, of course, took her cell phone and her silver Apple MacBook. The community and the public has rallied to help search for Alicia and make sure the public doesn't forget about her. Even though Jessica is just drowning in pain from all of this, she still works to spread education for other parents and raise awareness about her daughter. She's now an outspoken advocate for victims of human trafficking. She actually has a TikTok account if you want to hear more from her. It's called Find Alicia Navarro, and it has over 257,000 followers.
My daughter went missing on September 15, 2019. I am asking for your help, for you guys to please soften your heart. Whoever knows something or has seen her. I miss her very much. There's not a day that I don't think of her.
She also organizes flyer distribution events with members of the community through her Facebook group, which is called Help Find Alicia Navarro, and spreads awareness through the Facebook page Finding Alicia. I will have both of those linked below if you want to give them a follow. I know it really goes a long way to have your support. Her mom also started a GoFundMe to help raise money for billboards for Alicia. So there is a way that you guys can help here, and that's by donating to Alicia's GoFundMe. This is going to be used to fund additional billboards around the country and at the US-Mexico border. But billboards are expensive, guys. They really are. I will be donating any ad revenue that is made off of this video towards the GoFundMe. If you have even $1, $5 to spare, I would so appreciate if you would take the time to do that. And thank you in advance to everyone who does. Also, I just wanted to throw it out there to anyone who is in Arizona, possibly in the Glendale area. There's going to be an event on July 31st, which is a Saturday. It's going to be called Alicia Navarro Community Awareness Day. It's going to be a free event that can help educate parents, raise awareness about the dangers of online predators, and of course, raise awareness about Alicia's case. If you are in the area, I'm sure it would mean the absolute world for her mom to have your support there, for her family and friends to have your support there. So if you are free, maybe check it out.
The event that I will be having is on July 31st. I want to share awareness with the community. Unfortunately, in September of this year, it's getting close to 2 years that I don't have any news of my daughter. I am very honored that I will be having different organizations and different people sharing their story. The purpose of this event is for community awareness. I want the community to know and to get educated on this subject. I don't think it's being talked enough. I don't think there's that much support, and it all starts from home. So I want to share my experience with my daughter and make sure that they learned from it, because from what I'm going through, I don't wish it upon no one. And I feel there's more more to be done in this subject and this matter of the missing, of the human trafficking, of the justice, because I believe families like us need all the support in this situation. I want the community to be aware of what's going on.
I will have all the information about that event listed below. Also, the Anti-Predator Project is now offering a $20,000 reward for any information that can lead to Alicia's safe return. The Anti-Predator Project is really awesome. I have enjoyed learning about what they do over the past week. If you would like to help them and help their efforts to save other children from human trafficking, you can donate at their website. To report any information about Alicia's case, please contact the Glendale Police Department at 623-930-3000 or the Anti-Predator Project at 305-796-4859. And of course, the police have asked if you see Alicia Navarro to call 911 immediately and let them know where you are. This case is obviously very heavy. It was hard to work on this one, but I feel like it's so important not only to raise awareness about Alicia, but to other parents who could possibly fall victim to human trafficking. But that's all I really have at this point, guys. I'm really hoping that eventually we'll know some more information, or they'll get a lead that will help them figure out what truly happened, and maybe they will be able to find Alicia one day. I know this video is very hard to hear. I know that this was heavy. I appreciate those of you who listened through it, listened to Jessica and Alicia's story. Even though it's a dark topic, it's something that people need to know more about. I hope that you were able to learn something from this and that it really does help bring some awareness to Alicia's case. And I would really appreciate it if you would take time to follow the social media accounts and send some words of support to Jessica and her family. I send my deepest sympathies to Alicia's family. I can't imagine the stress that they deal with on a daily basis, worrying about where she is. But I just want to say to Jessica that I think you are incredibly strong for doing what you're doing and taking the pain and trauma that you've been through and taking that energy and using it towards not only trying to find your daughter, but also educate other parents and possibly prevent something else from happening to another child. I don't think I would even be able to function if I were you, truly. I can't imagine your daily stress and pain, but I thank you for fighting as hard as you have, for reaching out to content creators and podcasts trying to get Alicia's name out there, and I really hope this video helps. And thank you to everyone who took the time to watch this video and listen to what Jessica had to say, to what Trent had to say.
If there's ever anything that we can do for any of your viewers, please don't hesitate to contact us. We can be reached via our website at www.antipredatorproject.org. We can also be reached 24 hours a day, 7 days a week via our emergency hotline number, 305-796-4859.
I'm trying to do everything I can to keep her story alive. It's not just a picture. This is my daughter. This could be your daughter. It could be your sister, your niece, your friend.
Please leave your thoughts below. Make sure to keep them kind and helpful only. But that is going to be it for me today. I will see you guys next week. Stay safe out there, and I hope you have a good day.